So I'm going to go through the transportation components and recommendations, but I'm going to not spend a lot of time on the detailed recommendations because they're all on the boards downstairs, and Cheryl just actually did an excellent job explaining what we're trying to achieve in these various recommendations. So, but just to give you an idea, Chapter 4 in the plan is where you can find the recommendations sorted by 6 transportation components: circulation, pedestrian improvements, bicycle facilities, parking, transit, and streetscape. So you'll find descriptions of how things are now, the issues that were identified during the planning process related to each component, the alternatives that were considered and which ones were later eliminated, and then the final recommendations. And so, again, I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but the recommendations for circulation were aimed at slowing traffic through downtown streets, providing alternate routes for people that are not going to downtown to get around it, and in general just improving the multimodal environment. So they include roundabouts, traffic calming, parking reconfigurations, and you'll find all of these listed on the boards downstairs in the transportation components section. The pedestrian recommendations were aimed at providing more trails, promenades, and paths that connect the Hilo to the bayfront, that emphasize the existing character along Kamehameha, that provide covered walkways so that employees parking in what would be the new remote parking lot would have a way to get into downtown if they choose to walk and it's raining. So basically a wide range of things that would make pedestrian environment in Hilo more friendly. The bicycle component is aimed at making a stronger network so that people who do feel like they would bike if they felt safe have ways to get around. They can choose streets that have bike lanes, or if they feel comfortable going with traffic, they can go on the streets where traffic is slow enough that they can share the road. Also providing them enough facilities so that they can park and pick up a bike at the bike share station if they so choose. As Cheryl was mentioning, the parking recommendations are really aimed at making it more efficient and easy to park and reconfiguring things so that it makes a little bit more sense. So the people who are doing short trips to businesses can park right in front. The people who are going to be parking all day can park a little bit farther off but have easy transit options to access it, and to consolidate public parking in off-street locations so that there's well-marked lots that people can find with wayfinding signage and just park and walk through the rest of their destinations. So, and the transit component, the big recommendation with that is to establish the downtown shuttle, 3 phases so that eventually it would extend to the airport and the port and UH. And making improvements to the Mo'oheo terminal and adding components to bus stops and transit stops that make it easier for people and more comfortable. So there might be seating, better wayfinding signage, a mobile app so people know when they can catch the bus. And streetscape, so this is really to bring the street to life, with gateways, green infrastructure, which not only looks pretty but can help with drainage in the downtown area, street trees, street lighting, getting creative with urban landscaping, edible landscaping, and considering how you can implement a more a consistent style guide so that things in downtown Hilo remain consistent with its character. So this is definitely not readable at this scale, but I just want to show you that down in the plan, in the executive summary, and downstairs on the boards, you'll find these tables that list the improvements by street. So if you're saying, what about my street? This is where I live or have my business. You can actually find your street on these boards. There's 4 boards, 2 for north-south streets and 2 for east-west streets. And you can see how the circulation recommendations, pedestrian, bicycle, all the components, how it affects that particular street. And then you can see a conceptual cross-section. So what will the street actually look like if these are implemented? So the travel lanes, the parking, the sidewalks. And again, we have comment cards at each of these stations, so we invite you to leave your input. Oops. Okay. So this is going to be the fun part where we're going to take a virtual walk down Chiave Street into the future. This is Chiave at Mamo Triangle today. And here's what it could look like if some of the improvements were implemented, including a closure of the Kilauea portion that goes through here and conversion into a pedestrian plaza, addition of street trees, sharrows on the road. This is a parklet over here, so we're talking about a parklet program where businesses could take over a parking space and rather than using it for one car, accommodate 12 to 15 people or 15 bikes, provide a way for more people to be out in front of their storefront and bring more life to it. Next intersection, Chiave at Mamo. So this shows some elements including planters, a bike corral, wayfinding signage to key destinations. These are curb extensions so that this crossing distance becomes shorter for people and cars can see pedestrians that are standing here more easily than if they're in front of a parked car. And there will be, these generally don't affect legal parking areas because you can't tend to legally park this close to the corner anyway. Loading zones will be provided for in the downtown area as well to make sure that there's still on-street parking and still areas for people to load during off-peak hours. Here's Furno. So this shows some ideas about how you can bring alleys to life through things like street art, having events there. These are rain gardens that are in curb extensions. So basically, green infrastructure features that absorb stormwater and also help beautify the area. Here's Hilo. Again, we see a lot of greening possibilities here, wayfinding, a lot of people on the street. Kalakaua. We had to put one rainy one in there because we knew we were going to get, it does rain in Hilo a lot, So yeah, it rains in Seattle and Portland a lot, and there's a lot of bicyclists there. So if it's safe and inviting, I think we'll find that some people will choose to bike even when it's raining. Here's an example of the Hilo logo that was unveiled I think it was last year by the Downtown Improvement Association. So there's some potential for how you could showcase it. And here's Wainuinui. So this shows some examples of sidewalk dining, planters located in curb extensions. There's some accessible parking here, poles that are outside of the sidewalk area and the parking area, so that there's a kind of a better allocation of uses in the street and sidewalk. And here's Shipman. Let's see what's new in this one that we haven't seen. Not a lot, but you can see a lot of the same elements and different kinds of users all being able to enjoy. There's a lot shorter crossing here so that people with different levels of mobility can not be exposed to traffic for as long. Okay, oh, that was fast. So that was our stroll down Chiave, and back to Cheryl now for implementation and phasing.